Hey friends, welcome back to Gang Grid Sports. It's George Conrad here for my third full podcast. Got a little bit of a studio build here, finally got a little bit of a background. Got a lot of work to do yet, still got to figure out what I'm doing on the edges and everything. Got to get this whole recording thing figured out. You know, that's why you see me pushing the button. But we're getting better every day, every week. And hopefully pretty soon we're going to be putting together a real professional podcast for everybody to enjoy. But let's get to sports because that's what we're here for. We had a really big weekend in sports, and it's not over yet. Tonight, Kansas City takes on Washington in Monday Night Football. That ought to be a really good game. I'm looking forward to watching that. Hopefully I can stay up long enough. The day job still takes precedence. Got to get up in time to go to work. But I'll be watching tonight. World Series Game 3 going on tonight as well. That series is even up one apiece between the Dodgers and the Blue Jays. But we're going to come back to the World Series a little bit later on. We're going to jump into the NFL. And while I would love to lead with the Denver Broncos story, can't do that. I got to talk about my man Cam Skatt. Cam Skatt was well on his way to being the Gang Grit Sports Rookie of the Year. This kid is all grit. I love watching him play. He reminds me of people like Mike Allstott and Peyton Hillis, Trump, except he's a little faster maybe. I think he's got the kind of power that those guys have. Doesn't weigh quite as much because he's not as tall. But I think he's a little quicker, a little faster, a little more of a scat back. And that showed yesterday. He scored that touchdown, caught another pass from Jackson Dart, took it in. Man, this kid... Man, I was watching it live. I had the Ravens game on TV and I had the Giants game on my phone, and I was really enjoying watching him go. But, man, I saw that play happen. I knew right away something was up. They're saying a dislocation, possible fracture, had surgery last night. Knowing Cam, he's going to be working hard to get back to 100% before 2026 starts. But I'll bet that kid's in the locker room, and I'll tell you why. He's a leader. You know, here's the thing. Through 8 games, he's had 125 touches, 617 yards from scrimmage. He scored 5 combined touchdowns, rushing and receiving. But it doesn't just show up in the box score, what he brings. You know, it's the leadership. And even as a rookie, he has been a leader on the Giants team. Everything that's good that has happened for the Giants this year, and it hasn't been a whole heck of a lot, but everything good that's happened for the Giants has come from Skatt and Jackson Dart. I mean, these two kids, I call them the Delta House, Otter and Bluto. I love them. I'm just saying a lot of prayers for Cam that he'll get back. Jackson Dart, what a reaction he had to seeing his bro go down. And I use that word because that's what he used. He said, that's my bro, man. You know, it was tough. And anybody who saw that interview brought a tear to my eye. But, you know, hopefully everything's gonna get right. And I'm looking forward to seeing the Giants have a really good team next year. Now let's talk about the Broncos. Waiting. Hey, Bo Nix, what has he been doing over the last 5 quarters of football? That includes the 4th quarter against the Giants last week when they had that tremendous comeback, and then the entire game against Dallas yesterday. The Broncos are looking tough all of a sudden. Bo Nix, he threw for 6 touchdown passes in the last 5 quarters. He ran 2 in. R.J. Harvey scored 4 touchdowns in the last 5 quarters. Troy Franklin scored 3. You got Sutton, you got Dobbins, you got Ingram. They're all chipping in. And they got that bend, don't break defense that does enough to win games. They got some really good players on the defense, you know, but they've had a few breakdowns. But, man, they've kept them in the game. They've allowed Bo Nix to do his thing. And they're zooming 2 straight games here. They're up to 5-2. In 2 weeks, though, they're going to have to face Kansas City. And I'm not sure if that bend, don't break defense is going to hold up against the Chiefs, but that offense sure looks good. I think it's going to be a shootout. And if you play fantasy football in 2 weeks, if you have any Broncos or any Chiefs, I'd make them active. That's good stuff. Hey, let's get to my big announcement. We got a big announcement. This past Saturday, I traveled over to Altoona after the day job, spoke to the legend, Mike Luciano at Mike's Court, and got permission. We're going to do our first Gang Grid Sports live podcast from Mike's Court Saturday, November 1st, approximately 7 o'clock. We're going to be hopefully live streaming on both Facebook and X. And what this is, me and my brother Eddie, we're gonna celebrate the tip-off of the 25-26 NCAA men's basketball season by looking back on the teams and the players that we love most from the past. And we're going to call this little feature the Memory Yard. Legends Never Die with George and Eddie. Hey, I think it's going to be something good. If it goes over real well, we're going to be back again at Mike's doing a live podcast, hopefully once a month. So Eddie and I will choose a new subject every week or every month, and we're just gonna, some people will say boomer glory days, but that's fine with me because we're gonna have a lot of fun with it, and hopefully all of our fans and followers and friends will enjoy it too. But stay tuned for that. Already sent out some invites to the event at Mike's Court, and be looking for some more news about the live podcasts as well. So hopefully everything is going to go well with that. Of course, live, anytime you're doing anything live, you can mess it up. Hey, this is take 3 right here. So, anything can get goofed up, but hopefully everything is going to go well. We have a couple people coming to man the cameras for us. Mike's really looking forward to it. Hopefully we'll get a big crowd there at Mike's Court on Saturday. So I'm looking forward to seeing you there, or hoping that you're going to watch us here on Facebook or on X. So that brings us back around to the World Series. Let's talk about that. Game 1 of the World Series, the Blue Jays got the bats out. Boy, I was shocked that they chased Blake Snell. They just ran him out of the stadium, and Blue Jays ended up winning Game 1. Come back Game 2, Yamamoto pitching for the Dodgers, complete game, gave up 1 run. Dodgers are back in it. I've been saying from the beginning that I thought pitching was going to be the big thing with this World Series, was going to decide it. And I still believe that, and I still believe the Dodgers have the edge. But tonight you got future Hall of Famer, Max Scherzer on the hill for the Jays, and on the bump for the Dodgers, you got young, hot pitcher Tyler Glasnow, former Pirate, former Ray, now pitching with the Dodgers, and probably going to win himself a World Series ring here this year. But you know what? You can't write the Blue Jays off. I mean, those guys can explode at the bat. They got good pitching themselves. So be watching Game 3 tonight. We'll see who takes the lead. This will be the second game in LA, or the first game in LA. The first game in LA. Both games were in Toronto so far. So we'll see what the Dodgers do at home. Maybe they can put this thing away before they have to go back to Canada. Anyways, that about wraps things up for this week. Just wanted to get in a nice little podcast here. I've been working on this studio all day. Oh boy, I'll tell you what, I'm woofed. I am dog tired. But it's going to be all worth it in the end. Like I say, we still have a lot of hiccups to get past. We have adjustments to make to the studio, and hopefully I'm eventually going to be able to figure out how to get this little Air Mac to record for me, so I don't have to do 2 phones at one time. But thanks very much for watching, folks. I hope that you'll like the video. I hope that you'll share it with your friends, whether you're seeing it on Facebook or X. I'm going to try to put it on YouTube as well. So hopefully we get a lot of views. We get some folks checking us out. Got a little attention. NFL Memes sent me a direct message. Boy, they got 2.5 million followers on Facebook and 1.5 million followers on X. So nice little contact to make. Thank you very much, NFL Memes, for reaching out to me. Hopefully we can get together and talk about things in the future. But for now, I'm going to sign off. Hopefully back Wednesday with a mini cast, and then eventually, if we get to the point where I got this all locked down, going to try to do at least 2 and maybe 3 full podcasts a week. So this is George Conrad from Gang Grid Sports signing off. I love you folks. Thank you very much for tuning in. And here's the reach across.